Howdy, and welcome to the very first episode of the Quiet Lounge podcast. This is a brand new podcast that will embark on a journey full of writing and publishing tips and tricks and other writers sharing their stories. I'm really excited for this. Really excited. My name is Bonnie Harbison. I'm a 19-year-old writer, podcaster, publisher, and journalist. And I have started my career over 4 years ago. I was 15 years old and I started a podcast, Bonnie Sessions, which is now a charting podcast, which is still insane to say, but we charted in some charts with our mainly music interviews, and that's really insane. Basically, today we are here because I'm introducing to you my very brand new offer called the Quiet Lounge Writing Retreat. So the Quiet Lounge is my publishing company. I founded it 3 years ago. Sorry, I have to correct myself. I started my podcast 4 years ago. I don't remember what I said. I think I said 5. I'm not 20. I'm 19. Anyways, the 15, I self-published my debut novel, which had gotten a publishing deal. And I then decided I was too young to actually take on a publishing deal in those senses. So I did not take the publishing deal, and I worked on a journey of learning self-publishing. And what can I say? It's been life-changing. I really like to do it. And so the 16, when I published the translation of my debut novel in English, I founded the Quiet Lounge. And I knew from the beginning that the Quiet Lounge, I wanted to expand it. I wanted other writers to be able to tell their stories and get an audience and get listened with the right terms. And, there are a lot of tricks in this industry. And so I knew I would want to create a space where people can come and write their stories and just really be in peace with their art and their writings. And which leads me to now introducing it to you, the Quiet Lounge Writing Retreat. So if you don't know, NaNoWriMo is knocking our doors. I don't know when you are listening to this, but currently it is the 23rd of October. So in exactly 8 days, we're going to have November 1st. And I don't know about you, but NaNoWriMo always has been something I had to do. Especially fiction writers should participate, join NaNoWriMo. So we all come together. Oh, yeah. If you don't know what NaNoWriMo is, NaNoWriMo is short for National Novel Writing Month. And it's been successful. A lot of writers write their novels, right? A lot of writers write 50K a month. And I'm congratulations. That is massive. I could not do that. And I did not do that. I participated in NaNoWriMo the past 3 years. 2020, I wanted to write a novel a month. Never really figured out anything what I wanted to write. I just embarked on some old stories I've written years ago, and I was really bored, and I was this is not going. Why I'm not motivated? And I bet I beat myself up for not really being able to join NaNoWriMo. I joined it. I had an account on the official website, right? All that stuff. I just was not really able. I did not have any inspiration and any motivation to write. Despite that, I was still in school. So there, November, December is always the busiest time in school. It's what teachers think they have to give you presentations. And so I had loads of things other than NaNoWriMo to worry about, but that was the only thing that consumed my mind. I am not successful on this journey. fast forward, November 29th, 2020, I wrote the very first line of my novel. It was here, which I don't have right now in my hands to show you, but It Was Here is now a published novel. And I wrote the very first sentence on November 29th of 2020, right around the time where people shared their success of NaNoWriMo. They were like, oh, I wrote 49k words. I am so hella proud of me. And they should be, but I felt really behind and lost. So I was like, I failed. Fast forward, as I said, I did continue to write that novel. I did not let failing NaNoWriMo really take me back to not write it. I actually wrote it and I published it this year. So like, that was my success of NaNoWriMo 2020, right? Anyway, 2021, my last year of high school, I was like, I'm going to do this again. I was like, I'm going to do NaNoWriMo. I'm going to write 50k. I had a novel idea. I had started writing that idea. And I was like determined to write it in this month. And I was determined. And I started off good. Like autumn, fall was. And we had like a week break. I was really motivated. I wrote like 3k words a day, which led me to feel very burned out when school started again. And a lot of personal stuff are going on as well, and I was like, "This is why am I not succeeding in NaNoWriMo?" And I blamed it. I blamed it on NaNoWriMo. I blamed it on high school, right? I blamed it on high school. I was like, no way NaNoWriMo is in any capacity for writers. Like NaNoWriMo is for full-time writers. That was my perception of it, and I know, again, as I say, there are loads of writers who have full-time jobs, who go to school, who have kids and family, who have a business running during NaNoWriMo, and they succeed. Right, they were at 50k on their fictional novel, and I'm hella proud of that. That is a success. I just learned that I'm not it for it. And I believe, and I hear it, that other writers out there in the world are not built for it. And we don't have to be built for it. We don't have to participate in NaNoWriMo just because you have to. Like, it's a weird concept. That's why we're getting to a point now. I created an offer. This is the Cry Lounge Writing Retreat. It's a 5-week long program where we're going to meet, we're going to co-write, we're going to meet up, we're going to write, we're going to share our wins, we're going to we're going, can you see the smile on my face? I'm so excited for this. We're going to hang out, just a bunch of writers, and we just chill our lives. In a perfect world. Like, that is, I want this to happen. So, this offer is for eager, inspired writers who seek out dedicated time to write, and without feeling the pressure of having to hit a daily word count, without having the pressure of, oh my god, I need to do a writing vlog. Like, screw all those thoughts. All those thoughts will flow, like, all these thoughts will fly out of the window. I don't want them. You don't want them. We just all want to write. Right? Like, at the end of the day, we writers just want to write. And at the end of the day, that's usually not what we do. And so, in these 5 weeks, we're going to meet up 5 times a week from Sundays to Thursdays, and we're going to sit together and write. We're going to set an intention in the beginning of our call, light a candle, set the ambience, like whatever it takes for you to write, and then we're just going to write. And it's going to be hour-long sessions. That doesn't mean you have to write the entire hour. I probably won't write the entire hour, and you don't have to. You can do your laundry. You can just sit down and write one sentence. I'm proud of you. Like, that is a success. I'm so proud of you. Despite the co-writing sessions, the program is going to start October 29th, which is not technically NaNoWriMo yet, right? But as I said, this offer, I'm probably going to repeat it another time. That is not NaNoWriMo, because I think you already got my point of NaNoWriMo. And so we're going to have the co-writing sessions. But it starts October 29th. We're going to meet each other on October 29th. We're going to introduce each other. Maybe not. Maybe you don't feel like it. That's also cool. And I'm going to introduce you to the program that you just signed up for it. We're going to talk about the structure. And I hated to say it, timeline. Timeline feels like really pressure word. But we have a timeline. We have a schedule. It's definitely not going to feel like a timeline. And basically, you're going to know when the co-writing sessions are. When we're going to meet up for our feedback and reading sessions. I'm really excited. So we're going to meet up in a group. And for 2 hours, 90 minutes, however long we wish, however long we feel like. And people can read from what they wrote that week 4 years ago. We don't care. If you want a feedback on that and you just want to read it, that's your space. And then you can go with questions. You can go with challenges. You can share a win. You're like, I don't know. I went to a bookstore the other day and there was a lady and she asked about a book from Paris. And I don't know, the cashier didn't really know anything about like a fiction novel and set in Paris that was good. And I do write one right now. And I was like, I would told her about it. It's not published. I just told her about it. Something like that. You get the sentence? You get this you get the setting. We're going to hang out. We're going to co-write. We're also going to talk about writing. Like, one thing I learned from being a writer and from having writer friends is that writers write. We all want to write, but we love to talk about writing, which sometimes leads us to procrastinate the writing part, right? But we're obsessed with talking about writing. I'm obsessed talking about writing. So we're going to hang out on our feedback, group meetups, readings, whatever, just 90 minutes weekly where we're going to sit together in a group, talk about writing, whatnot. Also, just to say, we can also talk about publishing. Like if you're in the middle of querying and you want to rant, let's go. This is the space. Right. So this is going to be weekly. So in total, we're going to have 5 sessions of these. We're going to have 24 co-writing sessions in total in those 5 weeks. And I don't know about you, but the past year has not been really fluent for me in my writing terms. So I'm really excited to have 24 days where I'm going to show up at least an hour, maybe at least 10 minutes. But I'm going to show up and I'm going to write. I'm so excited for it. That is part of this retreat. And then we are, let me see. Oh yeah. Right. Okay. So we're going to talk about the schedule on October 29th. You see, I'm a writer. I like to tell stories. I tell you loads of stories right here. And October 30th, like the day before NaNoWriMo starts, we're going to sit together and I will be hosting a workshop surrounding let me get my notes. Where is it? There it is. I will be hosting a workshop surrounding how to figure out a channel writing routine for yourself. That means we're going to figure out, first of all, you will never figure out how many words a day feels good to you. You have to experiment around it. And it will change. Change for me. It was really, like, when I'm in the flow and I'm writing I'm finishing up a novel, I will write maybe 5k words a day, which is intense. And I feel very burned out after this 4 days, for example. But I finished a novel, right? I don't know. Maybe burnout is not worth sacrificing that. But we're going to figure out a channel writing routine, what it looks like, what you need for it, what do you need to write. Then we are going to talk about our goals for the next month, which have nothing to do with NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo is happening. We're all sitting, right, we all participate, like we're all there. We're all in this program. We're all there for NaNoWriMo. We're all here for our writing practice. And I'm so proud of us. Like, this is huge. We're just here. But we are setting our goal for this retreat. We're like, and this goal has to do nothing with the word go counts, right? You don't have to finish writing a novel. You don't have to start a novel even. You can just fuck around and try to figure out what you want to write about. And if at the end of it you have like 50 times the same opening scene, that is hella good. You wrote, you're a writer. Which doesn't mean to be a writer, you don't have to write. We so much to talk about. I am so excited for this. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to show you how you can show up. I'm going to show you some of my tricks, how to show up on like low level energy days or like on high level energy days. I'm really excited for that workshop. To be sad, I said there were 2 workshops. The other workshop is at the end of the program, which is December 3rd. We're going to get together for the very last time, which is really sad. We're going to journal about how this program felt, how your writing routine feels, how your relationship with writing or creating feels like. How does your relationship look like with writing? I'm so excited to have all of you answer it at the end of the month. Like, that is, I love it. But yeah, and we're just going to talk about how it felt like to write together in a community, how, I don't know, our successes, our wins. I made a friend, something like that. Doesn't have to be writing related, right? But excited for that. 2 workshops, the feedback, the group meetups where we're going to talk about writing. If that's, you need feedback, if that's, you want to read out something, if that's, I have a question, all there for it. Co-writing sessions, 2 workshops, group meetups, talking about writing. We're going to have a Slack community where we're all going to chat together. You can also private message anyone. You can private message me, all there. And you're going to have invite-only access to a Substack, which is private for everyone. You can find it on the internet, but you cannot read it. I love that. That has something sacred to it. And on there, I'm going to share, throughout the 5 weeks, I'm going to share resources and advice, podcast episodes, maybe listen to about writing, which like felt really good. And I was like, I need to share this with you. I'm also going to like answer questions you maybe brought to our group meetups in depth, right? In writing. I wrote about it and then I share it with you. So that's all going to be available. And if you feel like you need a little bit more support during this time, I see you. I know how you feel. Sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm like, I need someone to talk about this specific thing that I just wrote. And I don't know who. Like, who do I text up? Is there anyone? Hello. If you feel like it, and if you feel like I need someone who's there for me personally, not in a group setting, I need someone who I can phone up and I can share the fear, what I've just written, what I'm going through, how it feels like to write an essay, how it feels like to write a poetry collection. There's an option for you to have one-on-one coaching with me. We're going to sit together once a week for 90 minutes, and you can come with whatever you really want. You can come with your novel, you can come with your poetry. That word got stuck in my throat. And yeah, I wrote 3 novels. I'm currently on my 4th, which feels very insane to say. I wrote 3 novels. 2 of them are published. The 3rd one is in the publishing process. And I'm currently figuring out what the hell I want to write in my 4th one. Like, it's a mess. I tell you. It is a mess. I'm really excited to be together with you too. Like, right, I'm excited to do this too. I will not just sit there in a co-writing sessions and be like, like just having the blast of my time seeing you writing. I mean, I probably will love to see your writing, but this is also for me. I will also write. I will write. You can bet on that. And if I don't write, you're allowed to call me out, or not. and be like, hey, that's fine. Today you didn't feel like that. Same as you. Same what I want to tell you. Okay, so one-on-one coaching is available too. And yes, this is basically it. This is longer. This episode got longer than I anticipated. I'm really sorry. I like to tell things. I like to tell people things. Yeah, you can find more information in the show notes. There's also a link to the website, which leads you to the sales page, which leads you to the page where you can read more details about it. I wrote more in depth about what the writing retreat is looking like, what you need, and yeah, and you can subscribe to this because in the next 4 days, I'm going to share 4 more episodes where I go more in depth about what my writing retreat will look like, who it is for, whatnot. Oh yeah, maybe quickly here, if you were like, oh, she's just talking about fiction writers. No, I want to see all kinds of creators. If you're like, I have a Substack, but I want to get more consistent in it, like I want to have a general writing routine that will help me upload consistently, or like however, like just you want to write your Substack in a more, like you want to show up for your Substack, join us. Like please, like hell yeah. If you're writing for you, if you have fiction podcast and you need to write scripts and you feel like you need some community in there, join us. If you're writing, as I said, if you're writing a poetry collection, which I deeply admire, join us. If you're writing essays, if you're a journalist and you're like, I just need some kind of support, like I need some kind of community where I can just rant about, like, I need to write this interview and like, whatever it is. If you're a journalist, poet, if you're an essayist, is that a word? Essayist. I read it somewhere. If you're non-fiction writers, why did that take me so long? If you're non-fiction writers, you are so welcome. If you're like, let's be all together. You don't have to write a novel. You don't have to want to write a novel. You don't have to be ever want to be published. If you're like, I just want to write for fun. Like, I'm a writer. I do this for fun. It's my hobby. I really want some community. Come. Let's just hang out all together. Write. Daydream. Listen to music together. Whatnot. Let's let's do this. Let's write together. I'm so excited. To that to say, the doors are open until Friday. Friday's the last day to sign up for it. You can sign up in the link in the description, in the show notes. And yeah. What do I want to say? Oh, maybe the most important part. And you're like, how can she talk about 23 minutes about this? And not mention like anything about the different tires of this program. I screwed it up. Anyway, all information is in the show notes. For more transparency, there are going to be free tires. If you're going to go on the website, you're going to see there are free tires, 3 different pricing tires, and 3 different group tires. We're all going to spend time together. We're all in the same group. We're all together. But there are 3 different tires to preserve a more sustainable way for you to join, a more sustainable practice for every single one to join. Like, we all go through different phases in our lives. We all have different things. We all have different financial situations going on. So I wanted to keep it as open-minded as possible. So they're going to be 3 tires. The first one is called Flow, which basically means you can flow in and out, opt in and out. You can flow with us. You're going to join our co-writing sessions. You're going to join our workshops. You're going to be in a Slack crew, and you're going to have access to the Substack, which is really exciting. I'm so excited for the Substack feature. Flow, which is 333 euros for a one-off payment, Or are you going to decide to pay twice 166.50? 166 euros and 50 cents. I like whole numbers. But this one is 166. You got it. You can look up on the website to it. And then the second one includes every single thing I just mentioned in the flow feature. But it also has the group meetups where we're going to talk about writing. I think I mentioned that. We're going to read. We're going to share feedback. We're going to share memes. Whatnot. That one is called Fountain. It is 444 euros, a one-off payment, or 222 two times. Like 2 months. Was that clear? Talking about maths is not like, it's a bit, it's also a form of art, right? And then the very last option I already told you about is the stream. It's called Stream. It's where you have 1 week. That was weird. Where you have a weekly coaching session with me where we're going to talk about your book, poetry, your essay. Why not? I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you go through what you're going through in your writing journey. And I'm going to be there and I'm going to support there. And you have me for 90 minutes a week. I would love to sit down with you for 90 minutes. I sometimes need my advice too. Like, is that possible? He's not nodding. Anyway. That one is the payment, one-off payment of 888 euros or 444 per month. Twice. Like 2 months. So all I have to say, don't panic if you're like, oh no, I don't have the money for this. I have a financial hardship policy where you can fill out a form. I'm not going to ask any questions about your financial situation. I'm not interested in that. I trust you that you were like, I cannot afford to pay this. I need some help. So in this form, you just fill it out. It's email in your name, I think, what tier you want to be, and how much you would be able to pay for it without breaking the bank, without robbing a grocery store. And yeah, so I have that. Everything. If you're like, she talked too much about, like, 30 minutes were too much from this. The website is up. The sales page is up. You can reread everything I just said. Probably in a more organized way. And there are also Q&A, and at the end of it, I'm going to talk a bit more about my journey of NaNoWriMo. Why I'm doing this. Why I'm like, let's do NaNoWriMo, but in a different way. And yeah. If you got any questions, DM me on the Cry Lounge or Bonnie Overson, or send an email through the Cry Lounge at gmail.com if you're really an email writer. Ooh, an email writer. That was brilliant. And my dear friend, who sits next to me that I cannot see, will respond to you. Probably ask me first, but I'll respond to you. All right. I'm so excited. Let's write together. Let's do this. Sorry for all headphones users. That was really loud. And see you tomorrow, where I'm going to talk a bit more about this writing routine. See you. Bye.